Today I am bringing you one of the wildest community Q&A questions I've ever had. And it's about whether or not it's a sin to get turned on by fur. So you're not going to want to go anywhere. This will be fun. Hello, I'm Amy with Ask a Christian. This is a channel devoted to authentic discussion about the Bible, Christianity, and what it looks like to follow Jesus. And I do take community questions every week. They run the gamut from really detailed Bible stuff that I have to research out to just my opinion. And so if you've got a question that you want to ask me and hear my views on, hit me up at askachristianfriend@gmail.com. Let's read the question for this week. Dear Ask a Christian, I've been having problems with controlling my lust. I'm weird though because I'm not turned on by women or nudity, but I am turned on by fur and tickling. Will I ever be able to feel fur without it being sinful? If I engage in these activities surrounding fur with my wife, is that sinful? I'm sorry for the weird question, but I'm just not sure. Thank you so much for writing in. I'll call you Sir Furry for this video. And I just want to let you know, you are not alone in your question. Maybe this particular question, but I get 4 or 5 a month. People really want to know what kind of God we're serving. Is this a God who is kind of like plain vanilla, missionary style is the only way that makes him happy? Or is this a God who enjoys freedom of expression and variety? These are great questions, and I'm so sorry if you don't have anybody in your local area you feel safe talking to. You can absolutely ask me about this. I would hate for this to turn into a sex channel. If that's where the need is, that's where I will be. All right, back to you, Sir Furry. The first thing I came across in your note was your struggle with lust. This is a struggle for everybody, whether they're into fur or skin. And controlling our lust is something that is kind of a spiritual discipline. The Bible talks about holding every thought captive. And so while it's going to be absolutely normal for those things to fly into your mind and for you to start daydreaming, it's just probably not healthy or productive to spend a lot of our time daydreaming. And that's really my big concern about lust in our generation, is that it's so prevalent. We could become obsessed and be chasing that high and that fix like anything else. And so do try, if you're feeling overwhelmed by lust, do try to figure out where it's coming from and mitigate it and funnel your energy into good, productive, and godly things. The final part I want to address is that somebody liking the sensation of fur seems pretty all right. Like, it seems like our bodies are designed for all kinds of sensations. And if fur and tickling are the sensations that get you all excited, it totally makes sense to me. And I cannot think of a way where that would be a sin. Let's jump now into what God's original plan for sex was. God establishes marriage as a covenant relationship that unites two people into one flesh and forsakes all others. You can turn back to Genesis 1 and read about it. The aside I want to make here is that a covenant is not a contract. It's not a if-then statement. If one party provides this, the other will provide that. The covenant is supposed to be, no matter what, we are united in making our lives in this world a better place together than we are apart. And so sex becomes the symbol for that all-time other-centered commitment. Furthermore, in the New Testament, Paul talks again about this covenant relationship. In Ephesians 5:32, he talks about Christ, the groom, and his bride, the church. This marriage talk reflects that never-ending covenant between God and his people. And so sex then is a way that we celebrate and highlight God's feelings and his commitment to his people. All right, that's it. That's all you need to know to be able to make good decisions concerning your sex life. But just to make it even more clear, I've come up with 3 questions I think will act as a guide for you as you figure out how you want to get freaky with yo love. Number 1, does your sexy time involve just one partner? That's that Genesis 1 relationship, leaving all others and cleaving to the one. That covenant is supposed to give you a baseline for developing feelings of complete freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from jealousy, freedom from performance, freedom to become incredibly intimate with one other person. Number 2, does your sexual experience involve really trying to be other-centered? That's the other part of that covenant relationship where you are seeking to serve the other and you are seeking intimacy physically, of course, emotionally, and spiritually through the experience. Lastly, it's probably barely worth mentioning, but I do want you to ask yourself, is this sexual activity safe? Is there any way that this adventure I'm going on could lead to physical, emotional, or spiritual wounding down the line? And if so, even if it's permissible, it's probably not the wisest. That's pretty much it. That's all I could come up with for biblical restrictions. Number 1, does it involve just your spouse? Number 2, is it other-centered? And number 3, is it relatively safe? If you can answer yes to those 3 questions, my friend, get your weird freakiness on. Now, just to cover the full spectrum here, I also want to say that if you find that the things that arouse you are mostly self-centered, you're looking at yourself and how you can create pleasure for yourself, and you're not looking towards your spouse, or you're engaging in behaviors that don't involve only your spouse, or if you're doing things that are risky, dangerous, you're putting your health and wellness at risk, I just want to ask that you will take a look at that seriously and talk to a counselor about it. I know that you can have that rich, fulfilled covenant love that God wants to exhibit through you, and it might just take a little bit of work, a little bit of self-exploration, but I want to encourage you to do that and find out what else God has for your sex life. All right, well, that fun foray is it for me today. I thank you so much, Sir Furry, for writing in and being vulnerable. If you've got a question you'd like my opinion on, you can write to me at askachristianfriend@gmail.com. And I am so thankful that you've been with us on this journey today. I'm wishing you joy and peace for your journey, wherever it leads you. Bye for now.